Imagine living a life where no one, not their rudeness, not their lies, not even their cruelty, can shake your peace. Imagine walking through the chaos of the world with a calm so deep that people sense something different about you. They can't name it, but they feel it. You still hear the insults, you still see the drama, but it no longer enters your system. It touches you, but it doesn't move you. But let's be honest. How many times have you let one careless comment ruin your entire day? How many nights have you stared at the ceiling, replaying an argument, getting angry all over again, even though the moment was long gone? Most people don't live in peace. They live in reaction. They don't own their emotions. Their emotions own them. One insult, one rejection, one unexpected look, and their entire energy shifts. Not because the world is that powerful, but because they never learned how to take that power back. Welcome to Master Your Mind, the place where ancient philosophy becomes practical mental strength. Today we are going to explore something most people completely underestimate: how to become emotionally untouchable. Not cold, not numb, untouchable, like a mountain in a storm. The wind howls, the rain crashes, but the mountain doesn't move. That is the inner strength we are building today. Let's get into it. It was never about them. The first shift you need to make is this: it's not them. It was never them. You think it's the way they spoke to you, the disrespect in their tone, the way they dismissed your effort. But that's just the surface. What really stings is what those moments awaken inside you. Something deeper, something older, something you are not even fully aware is there. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." That is exactly what we do every time we blame other people for how we feel. We hand over the keys to our emotional state and then wonder why we are always being driven into chaos. Nobody can make you feel anything without your participation. Anger, frustration, resentment. They are not caused by other people. They are caused by your response to them. And that response is shaped by the unresolved parts of you that you have been avoiding for years. Two people can face the exact same insult. One brushes it off. The other stews in it for days. The insult didn't change. The difference is what it met inside. When someone ignores you and you feel invisible, that pain wasn't born in that second. It's a repetition, a mirror, maybe reflecting every time you felt overlooked, unseen, dismissed. The real battlefield is not the conversation. It is what is happening in you. You are not your reaction. Aristotle said, "Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom." And self-knowledge isn't just knowing what you like or what your goals are. It's understanding the places in you that still hurt, that still seek approval, that still believe peace has to come from being treated a certain way. Here's where the breakthrough begins. You are not your reaction. You are not your anger. You are not your pain. You are the one watching those things. You are the awareness underneath it all. The more you connect to that awareness, the less you need the outside world to behave perfectly in order for you to feel okay. That doesn't mean you tolerate disrespect. It means your peace is no longer dependent on the presence or absence of it. That is a whole different level of freedom, because most people aren't really living, they're just reacting. One text ruins their whole morning. One comment derails their entire mindset. One bad look from someone else, and they spiral into self-doubt. That is not living. That is surviving on emotional autopilot. But you can step off that ride. It starts the moment you stop saying "they made me feel this way," and start saying "something in me responded to that." That single shift changes everything. You take back your power. You begin to ask better questions. Not "why are they like this?" but "why does this bother me so much?" Not "why are they so disrespectful?" but "what am I holding on to that makes me so reactive to this?" That question, "what am I holding on to?" is where you will find most of your answers. Rewriting the unconscious script. At some point, you learned how to react. Not the dramatic kind, but the invisible kind. The flare of anger when someone interrupts you. The shutdown when you feel criticized. The need to prove something when someone questions your worth. You didn't arrive in this world with that manual. Those reactions were learned, absorbed like secondhand smoke. You didn't write the script, you just started playing the part. Most of what you think is simply you. Your temperament, your triggers, the way you react under pressure, isn't actually you. It's conditioning. It's habit. It's a script that started writing itself long before you were even aware it was happening. Somewhere along the way, someone taught you directly or indirectly that being ignored means you don't matter, that being challenged means you have to fight, that being wrong means you are not enough. These beliefs run quietly in the background of your life, and until you bring them into the light, they will keep directing your reactions without your permission. Jung said it best. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Every emotional outburst, every sudden shutdown, every time you overthink something someone said, that is not fate, that is programming. And programming can be rewritten. The work begins by becoming the observer, not the actor. You notice, you pause, you step back just far enough to ask, what part of me is speaking right now? That question, when asked sincerely, opens the door to everything. The sacred pause, where real power lives, in the space between reaction and response. There is a door. Most people rush right past it. Something gets said, emotions rise, and the mouth opens before the mind catches up. But when you pause, when you say nothing and feel everything, you enter that door. That is where awareness lives. That is where you stop being driven by emotion and start observing it. Viktor Frankl, a man who survived unspeakable trauma, said it this way: between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. We live in a culture that idolizes speed, quick replies, instant opinions, sharp comebacks. But wisdom doesn't rush, truth doesn't shout. And the people who have mastered themselves the most are not the ones with the best arguments. They are the ones who can hold silence without needing to fill it. When you feel everything without reacting to all of it, you gain access to something most people never touch: discernment. You learn the difference between pain and truth, between urgency and importance, between what needs to be said now and what is better left unspoken. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is not defend yourself, not because you are surrendering, but because you no longer need every moment to prove something. You would rather be at peace than be right. You would rather be aligned than be loud. Don't take the insult. Let it fall. Most people treat every insult like a fastball thrown straight at their chest. They catch it instinctively, grip it tightly, examine it, and then carry it around for the rest of the day, sometimes the rest of their life. But what if you didn't have to catch it at all? When the words come flying, sarcasm, judgment, passive aggression, you simply let them fall. No need to block it, no need to dodge, just watch it pass by and hit the ground with a quiet thud. Useless, powerless, empty. Insults don't just land on the surface, they pierce. Not because the words are sharp, but because something inside of us believes them, or fears they might be true. That's why they stick. They attach to old wounds, old doubts, and pull you into an emotional spiral. But when you start seeing insults as air, sound without substance, suddenly the world becomes lighter. Not because people stop throwing words, but because you stop catching them. It's not about being indifferent. It's about being unavailable for what doesn't serve you. Socrates said, "When the debate is lost, slander becomes the tool of the loser." Most insults aren't about you at all. They are projections, expressions of someone's own tension, fear, or powerlessness. And once you stop personalizing them, you stop being controlled by them. Your peace is not up for negotiation. Not today. They are not attacking you, they are bleeding on you. When someone lashes out, mocks you, or treats you coldly for no clear reason, your first instinct might be to take it personally. That's how we've been trained to think. If they're upset, it must be about us. But the truth, the deeper truth is this: they are not attacking you, they are bleeding on you. That anger, that sarcasm, that sharp look, it's not a weapon aimed at your identity, it's a symptom of something unhealed in them. Jung once said, "Knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darkness of other people." The more you understand your own wounds, your own emotional history, the easier it becomes to see that others aren't trying to hurt you. They're trying to survive themselves, and sometimes survival looks like silence. Sometimes it looks like control. Sometimes it looks like cruelty. But in almost every case, it's just pain in disguise. This is how you hold your ground. You recognize the pain. You honor your own boundary. But you don't take the insult into your identity. You don't let someone else's behavior rewrite your story. You just let it pass. Not because you're weak, but because you're finally strong enough not to need their validation. And when you stop needing it, the world loses its grip on you, the observer. Stepping back to see clearly, most people live trapped inside their own reactions. They hear a tone, see a look, feel an energy shift, and suddenly they're deep in it, defending themselves, overthinking, matching the other person's mood without even realizing it. But what if you could pull back? What if in the middle of the moment you didn't have to be the person experiencing it? You could simply watch. When you step into observer mode, you step out of the emotional swirl and into clarity. You stop seeing the situation from inside your ego and start seeing it from above, like you're floating above the conversation, witnessing it like a quiet presence. The emotion doesn't disappear, but it doesn't own you anymore. You're no longer the puppet of your nervous system. You're the one holding the strings. Jung said, "Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakes." The observer sees that most people are acting out their own scripts, their own habits, their own fears, and it has very little to do with you. You don't absorb their energy. You observe it. You notice it. You watch it unfold like it's happening in a film, and you realize you don't have to get pulled into their storm. That is presence. That is power. Training with your triggers. The emotional gym. Most people want to be emotionally strong, but only in theory. They love the idea of being calm, grounded, unbothered. But when the trigger actually shows up, a late reply, a disrespectful tone, someone cutting them off in traffic, all of that imagined strength disappears, and they don't see it, but they are wasting the best opportunities life gives them to train. Think about the body. You don't grow stronger muscles by sitting still. You grow them by doing something that challenges them. Resistance, strain, effort. The same is true for the mind, and even more true for the emotions. Your triggers are your emotional dumbbells. Every time someone irritates you and you don't react, every time you feel that flash of anger and you breathe through it instead of feeding it, you are rewiring your nervous system. You are building endurance where there used to be panic, space where there used to be impulse. That coworker who interrupts you, rep. The text you expected but didn't get, rep. The slow traffic, the spilled coffee, the passive-aggressive comment, rep, rep, rep. And with each one you get stronger, not by force but by choice. Not by pretending it doesn't bother you, but by staying conscious in the middle of it. Aristotle said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence is not an act, it is a habit. That includes emotional excellence. There is no magical transformation coming, there is only now. Only the choice to train, again and again. You are not the emotion. You are the one watching it. Most people don't feel emotions, they become them. One moment they are calm. The next they are fury. One small comment, one unexpected delay, and suddenly they are not thinking clearly anymore. They are gripped by anger, flooded with fear, drowning in shame. The emotion becomes the lens, it distorts everything, and they forget the most important truth in that moment. You are not the emotion, you are the one watching it. Feelings are not facts, they are visitors. They show up, they speak, they leave. And if you can learn to pause, even for a breath, you create space between you and the feeling. In that space, you reclaim your role. You remember that you are not anger, you are not fear, you are not the ego screaming to defend itself. You are the observer, the one behind the thoughts, the one who can choose not to react. Think of it like this. You are the sky. Your emotions are the clouds. Clouds pass through. Some are dark and heavy. Some feel like they will never end. But the sky itself never changes. It does not become the storm. It just holds it and lets it move through. And you are not the cloud. You are the sky. This is what Stoicism has always been about. Epictetus taught that we should concern ourselves only with what is within our control. Our thoughts, our actions, our beliefs. Everything else is external. If you anchor your calm to the external, you will never be steady. But if you learn to rest it in the internal, nothing can move you. Emotional sovereignty is not something you find. It is something you build. And if you are serious about doing that work, about going beyond inspiration and actually developing the mental discipline, the emotional control, and the Stoic framework required to remain unshaken in a world that will keep testing you, then the Master Your Mind program was created exactly for you. Inside, you will find the tools, the training, and the philosophy to transform how you think, respond, and move through every area of your life. The link is in the description. If you are ready to truly master your inner world, it is waiting for you. And if this message resonated with you, if something here stirred something real inside you, subscribe to the channel and stay committed to the path of self-mastery. Because here, every single day, we explore the ideas, the discipline, and the philosophy that help you build a stronger mind and a more intentional life. This is not a place for passive consumption. This is a place for people who are done living on autopilot. I will see you in the next video.